Comrades, I am Admiral Andre, and this is the 7th episode of our quest with Turkey in Realpolitiks. It's been too long since the last episode, so I'm very eager to jump right back into it, especially since in the time since the last episode, I've learned from that genographic DNA test that I have 2% match with Asia Minor, which is of course where Turkey is. So that makes it really interesting for me personally, even more so than it was before. So I think since we ended the war last time with Iran, we just have been focusing on trying to get the economy back on track, because we really took a beating from the many years of warfare against the US, the terrorists, the separatists, Iran, and so on. So it's been a very hectic time here for us. I think a useful thing to do is just to have a quick look at all of our stats. We're getting we're 8th, getting 8 score per month now. So we're still 10th, that's right, I remember that. Getting some bit of money, but we really need to get this to grow, because we still have a lot of debt to pay off. 28,500, which is a bit of a problem, because we're paying more than we're actually getting per month, or at least more than 50% of the total that we're getting every month. Action points, we need to actually do something about that as well. Only 23 a month is not very good, but at least the GDP or the economy is growing, so not by much, but it's there. Everything else I think is okay. HDI seems to be fairly good though. And wars, we're still, of course, recovering from those heavy war losses, and these don't really affect us. This is who's in the target of the UN at the moment. Projects, we're still busy with the mobilization. That will be done in 2 months. And the advanced highways theory. So we have to take that to its conclusion with the super rail theory as well. So we can actually start implementing these theories in practice. Then high unemployment still. Let's have a look at that. Unemployment rate is 13.2%, which is a bit of a problem, but it is dropping by 0.17% per month. So it is going down. Let's just have a look at our projects here. I think we do have the unemployment fight here and the post-war rebuild, as well as the diplomatic offensive. I think we do need all of them, so I'm very happy that they are active there. Is there anything else we need to look at? Our unit capacity for the military is still at its max. I think we should leave it at that. We never know what's around the corner. Then anything else? Taxes 28%, that is a bit high, but I think we need it. Until we can drop this debt, we really shouldn't bring the taxes down by much. Maybe I'll bring it down a tiny amount. Let's see, I'm being generous. Let's bring it down to 25, just to help the people. I'm not sure if this actually translates into economic growth. Theoretically, I suppose it should, because people get to keep more of their money and then spend it on other things, I guess. So, we'll see. Then internal politics, we're still a democracy here, but I see there is a clear trend for going back to our old authoritarian ways, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Doesn't really matter either way, but right now we do have the benefits, because I think in the UN they were talking about maybe it was already this attack on totalitarian, so since we're not that. But I think there was another one actually. Foreign aid, R&D, maybe it's expired, where the authoritarian countries were somewhat limited in their max capacity for the military. Militarism, personal control, all of that. It's I don't look at those very often, but in any case, we just can see that they're generally average there. And warmonger decrease is 4 per month at the moment, so we're not even on the board anymore. So let's continue and see what events happen this time. Iraq is dealing with some rebels, but it seems like they're on the verge of winning, since the rebels have nothing left. And 12% unhappiness in Mosul. That's not good. That's always where the separatists are quite active, so we have to stay on top of that. But I'm still looking for those, you know, those events, colonizing the different planets and moons, or building undersea bases. We have to be involved with those. There I'm again willing to create even more debt, even though I'm not supposed to, because that will give us score, and we have dropped since we had, what was it, 8th place, I think. So it's a trend we have to reverse, and again, the earlier we do that, the better it will be in the long run, since I still have to make sure that we are number 1 in score by the end of the century. So, is there anything else? I don't think so. Let's speed it up a little bit, although the mobilization is almost done. Public holiday, how nice. Today is a public holiday. Oh, sweet laziness. Oh, I can empathize, and I'm so on board with that. Unfortunately, it does cost us some money. You know, the economy will lose some productivity, but unhappiness will drop, so Mosul as well. Hey, it's good. I wish it was the case in real life. Mobilization is done, and we have achieved a national project as well, so we get some more resources from that and a bit of score as well. Fantastic. Let's just pause because I don't want it to run without having a project in the pipeline. So let's go back to the economy. I think we have to focus on this. Financial capital. Oh, it's unaffordable. Forget it. Lay down the framework for an economy based on the financial sector. That's what we did in the South African case, and I think that worked very well for us. So let's do this. We need academic education, but we already have that. So it's 100 payment, but that's okay, and some action points. But in the long run, this will definitely help. So speaking of that, let's just look at the stock exchange again. Just as a refresher. Oh, I see there is some maintenance we need to do there. Japan and Indonesia. So this is not a bad mix here. China, Japan, Turkey, of course, that's us. We have to be in it. And Indonesia. These are some really big economies. Unfortunately, we haven't supplanted Canada as number 1 yet. And I'm very sure it's because the US is in their block, since we don't see the US anywhere. Let's just have a look. Can we actually see if the US is in Canada's block? Not sure if that's possible. Might be somewhere. Oh, it doesn't matter. At some point we can try and invite them into our block, providing of course that they're not in the Canadian one. But I think some of the hatred from the past must first go away. It's all about the numbers, and Russia is about to completely defeat the Baltic Union, so their union hasn't helped them at all in stemming the Russian tide there, which is a bit unfortunate, but I guess it's to be expected. I wonder what they're going to take. Probably, if I'm not wrong, last time they took, I think they took just one of them. I can't remember if it was Latvia. I think it was Latvia. Could be. Let's see, is anyone wanting anything? Nothing? Ah, there's something. Kazakhstan. I don't know if I want to get involved with that, but let's have a look. Rebel support. No, I don't want to do that. Support riotous chance to fail. No, no, no. We have to stay out of trouble right now. Maybe some other time, Colonel. And Russia has a high warmonger level, so they did it. And I was right, they took Latvia again. So it seems to be the, you know, the state of affairs that they like to take the Latvian territory there. Mashrik still wants help with rebuilding their terrorist regime, but I'm going to say, sorry, nothing we can do. I'm not going to pay my enemy to rebuild their country. That's madness. Anything else? Nothing interesting? Ah, India wants something. We're willing to slightly loosen up our policies and with your help make them more fitting for today's world. It will cost us money, it will cost us action points. Assimilate interventionism, but those are all India. It doesn't even say that we're going to have a closer relationship with them, which is quite a pity. Let's try it and see what happens, though. I'm curious to see. Let's go to the relations map. Now, it doesn't look like they're particularly fond of us, but maybe we can start building a closer relationship there. Let's, I don't want to do a spy operation. Improve relations. Of course it will cost us, but it's not going to create more debt, so let's see. We need more friends in the world. How are things with our bloc members? I haven't seen any unhappiness in that regard yet. But maybe we should do some investments if possible. Make an investment, we can afford that, and it will also give relations, but of course it depends on whether it's successful, I think. Then who else is in our block? I have to remind myself now. Armenia. Investment, we can't afford that. No, I'm not going to create debt for that. That has to be off of our current account. And it's a failure with India, so I guess we're not going that direction. And what did we get here? Improve your total GDP to at least 2027. Now, I wonder what it is at the moment. Let's have a look at the economy. 1821, so we're not far away from that. I don't think this has any relation with real life, of course. It's just a number aggregating things here. But still, we have a task there. Next, UN members have been selected and we're nowhere in sight. Investment flourish. Our investment was a huge success. We can now harvest the goods we want. So I think, although we need more money, we're actually getting less action points per month. So that might be a good one. But no, I think money. Then we can invest that into our debt repayment. That's at least 1,000. So I'll take that. Thank you very much. And then I will pay as much of the debt as we can. That's something, you know. It's going to be slow and steady, but if we're not putting any money in there, nothing will happen. Anything else in Europe? There's something in Romania. Specialists needed. For further improvement of our country, we need some highly educated groups of specialists to help us introduce economic reforms. Temporarily we'll lose our HDI, but relations will go up and it will cost us action points. Oh well, let's live recklessly there. Building better relationships, I think, is a good thing here. So what is our long-term task here? After we recover, of course, and that is, I think, to wipe out Mashriq. That must be the #1 priority. After that, we can start thinking about building the new Ottoman Empire again. We're still 10th place, nothing has changed there, but there is separatism growing again. That will mean more money. 309, 348. I wonder if there's any way that we can permanently resolve this. It should be possible. Have to investigate that, I think. Pay 348. Cancel right now. I'll definitely do it, but I don't have the money for it at the moment. And it's always a temporary measure. There's nothing we can do permanently, it seems. Definitely a big change from when we did the South African Let's Play. We could just take over everything and nobody ever complained. The good old days. Almost done with the advanced highways theory. So I think this will be pretty much an episode of economic rebuilding. But we've had so many action-filled ones now that I think it's a good change of pace. So let's have a look again at the, it's still under the economy. It should be internal politics. No, don't want to look at that. Where is this highways thing? Here. Rail web. How much? Oh no, 10,000. Hyperspeed corridors theory. That's still theory though. Can we start doing some practice? Highways network 3,800, but it does give GDP growth, which will of course help if we do it sooner rather than later, because then the benefits will stack up for the rest of the game. But I'm not willing to take more debt though. Here, this we can do. Economy modernization 3. Reduce administrative structures to make the tax revenue collection system simpler and more effective. We've done that before already, and that gives us more tax income. So do that. Then we can use that money from the tax income to pay for the new superhighways and railways. Can I pay for that? Not yet. We don't have 300 yet. I just don't want them to start a rebellion now. Anything else? Nothing? Surprising how little diplomatic things we get on the map. What does Iran want though? Support a peaceful revolution. Oh, I'm tempted. We want our country and our fellow countrymen to finally be free from the government's oppression. Please help us bring democracy to our beautiful fatherland. So now we're like America, now we're exporting democracy. It will cost us 600. It just means a little bit of debt for us. Action points on their part, and influence political system chance to fail, minus 20%. So that's basically just a covert action. You know, I don't think my plan is ever to really take any territory from Iran. That was never really the plan. It was pretty much to go through the Middle East towards North Africa. So turning their regime to a more friendly one, we can see they're actually totalitarian at the moment, will actually be a good thing. So let's do that. But now, of course, I have to make use of this benefit and look at the spies here. Spread dissent, influence political system. A bit of money, I'm just going to pay it now. Spread our righteousness political views, or our righteous political views abroad, to make their system more like ours. Score plus 50 if we succeed, so let's see if it works. It will take 144 days before we find out the results there. Trinidad and Tobago joined the bloc of Brazil. Loan taken again, unfortunately. The stock exchange in Saudi Arabia was closed, so maybe an opportunity for us there, but we need to have more slots in our stock exchange. Loan taken. Philippines joined the bloc of the People's Republic. Success, make an investment in the Arab. Okay, we know that one already, and then there's the India one. More officials. What's the easiest way to increase the number of jobs? Why? Expanding bureaucracy in government offices, of course. Even though at the same time we're busy modernizing the whole bureaucracy and the tax system, we're actually trying to create jobs by hiring more people. But I think it's important because it will drive down the unemployment, which will of course drive up the economic growth and the GDP size. So do it, whatever it takes. That's an important goal. Member generates no income, so Japan has now started its own stock market there. That's always the case when we get that message. Yes, 0. Japan is one of the big economies. Can we sabotage them? That's always my first attempt if this, happens. Let's just see. Slander the stock market. Oh dear, more debt. Chance to disable their stock exchange. Or should we look for other opportunities? I think let's drop them first. We anyway have to wait, and even if they could be invited back, then we'd still have to wait. We couldn't just leave them there. So yes, I just want to see if there isn't anyone else available that can grant us even more money. Serbia joined the Russian bloc, which is not a huge surprise given the history there. Can we see if they are members of a stock market? The US. Diplomacy. What about the Canadian one? What if we break that one? Slander that one. Hey, we can afford it too. Drop their stock market income and possibly even destroy it. Do it. Slander them. Failure. Paraguay left the bloc of Brazil. Peace treaty between the Baltic Union and Russia, but of course that was bad for the Baltic Union. There's, I think that's Hungary there that wants money, but I'm not gonna pay them because I'm not in a position to. Presidential blunder. The president said a bit too much on TV last night. The people are disappointed. Whatever happened, happened. Score, no, I can't lose score. I'll rather lose tax income for 150 days. The ultimate aim of this whole campaign is score, so we can't lose that, sorry. Maybe we can provide some sort of distraction by lowering the taxes for a while. Typical politicians. Arctic dispute. This happened before with the South African one too. Russia has publicly claimed the North Pole along with all of its resources. The United States immediately responded by doing the exact same thing. A major conflict is brewing. If I remember correctly, the Scandinavian countries are going to get in on the action next. I think Denmark specifically. But we'll see what happens there. So, what is this Kosovo or Serbia? I think that's Kosovo. What do they want? Protectionism, acceptance. Let's see. No, this is the one that gives us 20% less income from our stock members, but gives us 5 extra relations with Kosovo. I could do that through diplomacy. So that just doesn't work for us. Now they dislike us a little bit, but let's see if I improve relations. It costs only 3, so it's really nothing to worry about. But I see we're now getting a negative income there because of the drop in the taxes. So that was not the best idea. Should we raise them temporarily? I think we have to actually. Music plagiarism, oh dear. We've been accused, it's a non-stop thing here now. We've been accused of using a piece of music in our last campaign without permission. The case could go to the court, but we could also try to silence the whole thing. Now what happened last time? We also had this, I think. I'm gonna let the courts decide, although it could backfire if they decide against us. Should I risk it though? It's a gamble, because if I say cover it up, then there's no score involved. But if I let the courts decide and they agree with us, then we'll get a lot of score. But if they disagree, we'll lose it. Ah, well, let's gamble it. Let's be a bit reckless there. But I think we need to raise the taxes now, desperately. 35% now. Is it helping? Not really. -9, -10. Oh well, it's less of a loss now. Financial economics theory has been implemented, so we can just success with Kosovo, so that offsets the disappointment they had. Let's just have a look what's next. It has to be the economy. It definitely has to be the economy. Protectionist agricultural market will give us some score, and does it actually lead to any growth in the economy? No, but it does lead to unemployment drop. But I don't want collective state farms, do I? I don't know. It doesn't actually relate to any communism or anything like that, I suppose. Domestic economy protection by prohibitive tariffs on foreign products. What about the improved bureaucracy? No, that's money. So we're gonna go with protectionist agricultural market. Do it. Score is anyway a good thing. We can never go wrong with more score. Capital punishment. Discussion about capital punishment is the main topic in the country right now. It's time to make some decisive decisions. An eye for an eye, capital punishment stays, so that means obviously we have it at the moment. Abolish it or let the people decide. I think we should let the people decide, but now of course this money thing is such a big problem now. Maybe we can... I don't know, because now personally I would say, I don't know, it depends on the context, but it's not necessarily a bad idea to abolish it. It will drop the personal control. Although it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna say let the people decide. Yes, we'll lose the money, but it seems the best thing for me to do there. Oh, we got all this debt back again that we paid off. Do we succeed in Iran? Let's find out. Our agents report the influence political system operation was a complete success. Iran has no idea what hit them. And Canada Complete success. Canada has no idea what hit them, but I don't think it actually closed their stock exchange, unfortunately. So in Iran, what's happening there? It does look like it's dropped a little now. It's just under the totalitarian. So, yeah, we had some impact, I guess. Diplomatic summit crisis between France and Russia. Yes, there's a whole argument to be made again for being on relatively good terms with Russia, so they don't start involving themselves more in our sphere, in the Caucasus region. But I think that conflict is probably inevitable at some point. Although, I think let's take good relations with Russia. France doesn't really concern us at the moment, so we're going to support Russia. But if they start meddling here with Armenia, I know if they try to rebuild the Soviet Union, they might do that. Then it's going to be another war again. And our GDP is shrinking at the moment. Hey, this is the high taxes now. I think probably we should drop that again. Might have an ironic effect there, or an apparently ironic effect where the people pay less tax, but then we get more income because the economy isn't shrinking anymore. Denmark builds an Arctic base. There we go. The whole thing with the bases has finally started. While Russia and the USA bickered about the Arctic, Denmark surprised the entire world and established a fully operational base in the middle of the contested area. Let's go have a look at it. Ah, guilty. We found guilty in the music plagiarism case, so the gamble backfired again. Use influence to change it. Well, we don't have the action points. Let's see what happens if I say that. Now we just go to 0 action points. So we're pretty much out of the game in terms of doing anything for a while. Hey, that's not good. Didn't think it was gonna go that fast. Both equally as shocked as angry, Russia and the US have moved their fleets nearer the Danish Arctic base. Other Scandinavian countries as well as Canada have responded negatively to that move and are showing solidarity with Denmark. Interesting. Each time I want to look at the base, something else comes up. It's a busy time for us. Social promises. There is no easier way to gain votes than to promise someone something they want. Our people often complain about weak social assistance from the government. We can promise this will change during our next term, but now will it actually? Make promises, interventionism will go up. I don't know if that really matters. I'm just going to make the promise. Here's the base. Finally, we can have a look at it. Cackle Ridge again. So, what can we learn about it? I guess it's the same as the previous one. What is this? Turkey, diplomatic. Oh, that's just our sort of passive benefits or buffs in the background. And again, something happens. Croatia. Representatives of Croatia, Slovenia and Bosnia gathered lately to talk about a possible union. The feeling in these nations is that it's way too dangerous to go alone. I guess they're learning from the Baltic Union now. Without further considering the worldwide situation, they decide to create the Republic of West Yugoslavia. So at some point there's going to be an East Yugoslavia as well, I bet you. Let's look at the trade. So 22 minerals, that's not the best. Busted! Our little attempt to interfere, now we lose even more score. In the court decision has been discovered. Oh, I'm not doing the best job of actually keeping us out of trouble here. There's a riot in Baghdad because I wasn't paying to suppress the separatists. So we're back at it again. Well, it's not boring, I can tell you. Assign all of them. Let's get this over quickly. Frontal advance. Let's see what happens. We anyway start with a 15% war score. Every single time there's a war. Voting, okay, we'll just say accept. System will change to authoritarian, so we're going back to our old ways now. My leader, from now on, no weaklings will stand in the way of this country's path to glory. People are storming the streets in celebration of your leadership. Would you like to learn about this system? No, I already know, thank you. Go back to the conflict here. Okay, this should be a quick one then. Let's air supremacy is very high. I don't know where they get these aircraft and tanks from. Another one. Supply lines. Let's stop them before they grow. So we're just implementing that. Spy actions can cause... Just hold on here. Just pause for a moment. What's this about the stock market? I guess they're saying low stock exchange revenue because we're missing a member here. Most likely. Canada's now 41% though. Japan, because they're going it on their own, they're taking that away from us there. Oh well, there's my alarm again. Just put an end to this. Cancel, stop the alarm, dismiss. Let's just continue there with this conflict. I want to put this to an end so we don't have to deal with this again in the next episode. Money shortage. Oh, this is coming to an end here. The whole thing is collapsing now. Military operation 1. Capture the roads. Oh dear, this is bad. This is so bad because we're living on debt now. I guess we're gonna have to increase taxes again. Put it up to over 50%. There, at least we're out of the red now. But everyone's gonna be broke. Okay, at least we won another one. Give us the guard posts there. What's the world economy doing? That's why it's completely tanking again. It's another global recession there. China's been downgraded there. Let's just deal with that quickly and go back to the fight. Peace with Iran. I'm not interested in going to war with them at any point again unless they meddle in our affairs. Capture the key cities. Let's make sure they don't entrench themselves, and we can invite someone new to the stock market. So of course we don't have the action points for that. This is quite a dire situation we're finding ourselves in right now. The early 2030s is still a difficult time for us. Belgium joined the bloc of Germany. Peace between Iran and Turkey expired, so that thing went away now. People's Republic, we took care of that. We won another one, so we're doing some swift damage here. Do the final offensive. We did lose some troops. Malaysia joined the bloc of Indonesia. Loan, slander, loan. Not good. Kosovo, and there we're in the red again. We're losing money again. This world economy situation needs to turn around right now. There we're getting some money back. We can't keep taking out loans because soon we'll be bankrupt. Rebels crushed. Our army managed to stifle the rebellion and maintain the stability of our government. The rebel scum will now face justice in the courts, as well they should, and we get some score, and we're up to 7th place now. Let me pause here. Let's see. Obviously we need 100 of the action points there. Actually, I want to get a member before we end this episode. Russia and the US succumbed to international pressure, so they have pretty much accepted that Denmark has its base now there. I'm a bit afraid they're going to start that international bid for a new base, and then we don't even have action points or money to take part in it. Here's another crisis. We'll take Russia again. It's funny how Russia is always involved in a diplomatic crisis, but anyway. Okay, pause. Let's have a look. What's available? The US is apparently available, but is it going to be profitable for us? Our relations are not the best. You know, I'm going to risk it. Let's invite them back. We can improve that, but I don't think we can improve it again. No, we can't. And then we'll obviously need action points to improve our relationship with them. Traded on a stock market and so on and so on. Yes, the influence here is not good because we're in a different civilization and obviously we're not in the same block. Also the distance is a factor, but the relations is the one that we can control. So we need to improve that so that we at least get some more money out of that deal. which is funny then, almost like the US is paying our rebuilding costs after the war. Anyway, I'm going to leave this episode here. This has been a very busy one, I feel, even with the whole rebellion thing as well. But that's the thing with Realpolitiks. There's never a dull moment, you know. There's always something happening and some crisis that's just around the corner. So let's hope at least we can pull this economy together, because that's the one thing that can sabotage us completely now. We're still actually losing GDP there. Oh well, it's a tough life of a leader, but anyway. See you in the next episode. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day.